Today we're going to be talking about some of my most commonly asked questions about the pendulum. If this interests you, stick around. Hi, and welcome back to the Wholeness Shift. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Veronica, and I teach people about easy, practical spirituality. I help you navigate your spiritual awakening. I teach about intentional living and the law of attraction, all of those little things that you can do to create the life of your dreams. If this interests you, hit the subscribe button below. I wouldn't want you to miss anything good. So, as you guys know, I read and respond to every comment, every message, every email, everything. And one of the top number one things that I've been getting lately is in reaction to my pendulum video. And if you haven't seen that, I will link it below because it's one of the most popular videos I've ever made. And you guys are really interested in this topic. So I want to help you out. And inevitably, at least once a day, I get a message asking about a scenario that happened with a pendulum and how do I know if I can trust it? Or how do I know if this is a guide or a trickster spirit? How do I know? And I find myself typing the same response over and over. And so I will just put it here so that maybe you guys can reference this and it will help you. So first and foremost, using your pendulum and developing a relationship with your guides is just like any other relationship in your whole life. Whether you're dating, you have a new coworker, you have a new neighbor, you're introduced to someone who you think could potentially be a new friend, or it's someone you've known for years, a family member or something. How do you know if you can trust that person? I mean, the short answer is you get to know them and you establish trust, right? You see if the things that they are saying seem true. You see if what they're saying resonates as truth with you. You allow them time to establish trust. There is no other way to know if you can trust something or someone. There just isn't. There's no magic formula. This is about establishing a relationship and establishing trust. And over time, you're going to see if your gut's telling you something's not right with this and you cast it aside, or if they tell you something, it resonates as true, and then they tell you something else, it resonates as true, they're going to establish trust with you, okay? And then if something comes through that you're not sure about it, take it with a grain of salt, give them the benefit of the doubt because they've earned that, and move forward. Now, I get other questions about, they told me this is going to happen on this and this date. Or something came through and said that it's my grandma, my ex-husband, my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend, whoever, and they say that it's their spirit and that they're dead. Are they really dead? Probably not. Could be. But why take a spirit's word for it? Do your homework and find out if they're dead. The second part of that answer is that response and every other response you could ever potentially get. All you can do is take the information for what it is, and you can decide if it's true or not. Nothing that comes through that pendulum should be life-altering, life-shattering, life make or break. Okay, you are the author of your life. You are creating this world that you live in. Do not let anything that comes through that pendulum dictate your life, your decisions, or anything else, okay? That is simply a tool. It is a way to communicate with your spiritual team. And your spiritual team, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to say they will not be giving you specific information like you're going to meet your soulmate next Tuesday at the coffee shop. His name is Jerry. Because then any Jerry you ever meet between now and then, you're always going to be looking for a Jerry. And any Jerry, you're going to like infuse it with this expectation of, oh, are you my soulmate? That's not the way it works. you have free will. You have free will to choose any timeline you want to be on. Your guides will give you information such as, hey, I'm thinking of moving to California for this job. Would that be in my best interest? Yes or no? As opposed to like staying here for this job, would that be in my best interest? Or, hey, I feel like my soulmate's coming. I feel like my forever partner's on their way. Do you see me meeting my forever partner within the next 6 months or the next year? And they may tell you yes or no. They may not, but they might. But they're not going to say, hey, next Tuesday, you're going to get a call. Or they're not going to say, next Wednesday at 5 a.m., your husband's going to die. That's a red flag, you guys. You don't even have to ask me. Just know that's a red flag. So go, oh, really? That's interesting. Now, if at next Tuesday at 5 a.m. your husband passes away, my condolences. That sucks. I'm sorry. However, I don't think that's going to happen. It's a trickster. They're messing with you. Okay? So everything that comes through the pendulum, take it with a grain of salt. When you sign on to use the pendulum, release any and all expectations about what you're going to get, what it's going to mean, whether it's true or not. Do not use this to base massive life decisions on with 100% certainty. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am going to uproot my whole life depending on what this says today. What am I supposed to do? Where do you want me to go? Because you might get a trickster that comes through and goes, well, I want you to move to Antarctica and like live with the polar bears. And if you're like, wow, okay, well, I got to sell all my stuff and move to Antarctica. Well, that'd be a little crazy pants, but okay. Use it as a tool and use it in the same way that you would use any other relationship in your life. Meaning, even if you're married for 25 years and your spouse starts acting shady and lying to you all the time and things just aren't adding up, even if you have an established relationship, if things start going funky, you know your gut's going to tell you and you're going to get red flags, right? Same here. If you're using this just fine, talking to your guides, and then all of a sudden something seems off, it might not be your guide. The other thing I wanted to talk about is your pendulum getting hijacked. I've discussed this with a handful of people because it's happening to them, you know, like a trickster spirit got a hold of my pendulum and won't let me use it. It isn't being rude to me. It's just blocked me. It won't let me talk to my guides. It'll just spin or whatever. Yes, this has happened to me too. It actually happened to me for about 3 years. I couldn't use my pendulum for like 3 years. And I'm still not quite sure on the absolute reason of it. I know that it can happen if your vibes are lower, you get a little trickster messing with you, and they just decide, no, I'm not going to let you use your pendulum. In my case, something just took it over, and it wouldn't be rude to me. It would just spell out like, la, 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 la. And I'd be like, why are you doing this? Because I don't want you to talk to your guides. La, 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 la. And I'm like, why not? Because you don't need to. Yes, I do. No, you don't. And I mean, if I would engage with it, it would respond to me. And it wasn't rude to me, which sometimes they can be very nasty to you, but it wasn't rude to me. It didn't give me any troubles. It just blocked me. And when I could eventually talk to my guides through that way or another way, one of the things they had alluded to was that I had become too dependent on using the pendulum. I had invested all of my hopes, dreams, and everything else in this pendulum and the answers I would get from it. And I was using it all day long, every day. And I was becoming too dependent on it. And they wanted me to develop my gifts and my intuition in other ways. So therefore, you know, this is why we can't have nice things. We have to take it away from you because you don't know how to act. So I'm still not sure if they just allowed a trickster to grab onto it and block it, or if it was actually just one of my guides blocking it and messing with me going, no, we're not gonna talk. So I'm not quite sure which one it was. To sum it all up, my point is that yes, sometimes this happens. It's nothing to be concerned about. It can be frustrating, but if it's that frustrating to you, that's probably why it happened. There's a reason for it, because you have too much of a dependence on it. So you need to examine your motives and examine your behavior to see if there's a reason why you may have been cut off. So anyways, nothing to be concerned about. Go focus on your life. Go live your life and be in the moment and try to develop your intuition, develop your other spiritual gifts, go meditate, you know, just go live your life. And then eventually it'll probably start working again. All right, you guys, I hope this helps. Until next time.